Welcome to the Behind the Mic Show from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill in Champaign, Illinois. Presented by Ford of Tuscola. Now here's your hosts, Keith Gibson and Sam Erwin.
Welcome, everybody, to the Behind the Mic Show from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill. Your host, Keith Gibson, alongside me, Sam Erwin, my fellow host, teammate, compadre, best friend in the whole wide world. Just
lover.
Not my stepbrother, not lover. Quit telling people that. Too many Christmas. Hey.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
You know what? I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm all right. You know, it's been good and had a nice, good weekend last weekend. Got some things done. Got my new desk here at the Cheap Seats. I got an office now for us, Sammy.
I saw that bad boy. I mean, it looks like it is highly functional. And you got a heck of a deal on it.
$15.
$15. Well, you had to buy it. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. Yeah.
Well, actually, it's worked out pretty nice to be able to sit out here, work, watch a little TV, have a cold one, and do the show too. So, but yeah, no, things are good. Had a good weekend. My sister came up for the weekend, so Moon Pie, Amy came up for a little visit. And,
very nice.
What about you? How was your weekend?
It was good. Went to let's see. It turned out to be a nice weekend down here, and took the 6-year-old to the park, let her burn off some energy, and
always fun.
Then we took her to Yaya's Island. Hadn't been there yet, right here in old Paducah, and it's basically like Chuck E. Cheese on steroids is pretty much what it is. So that was quite entertaining, and that was pretty much the gist of the weekend. As you know, got to keep those little ones entertained, because if not,
yes.
trouble. It's a lot of trouble if you don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
My new one has someone Lori works with, my wonderful wife, gave my daughter a guitar.
Oh, thank you so much to those people.
I know, she's fun. She's loving it. We got a wedding to go to this weekend, so she's excited because we're going to take her, and she's ready to dance. Mm-hmm. If she's not a Gibson, I don't know who is.
Right, and maybe I need to get her a drum set.
No, you do not.
For Christmas.
No, you do not.
What if she's really good at it?
Let's get the guitar down first. It's a tiny guitar, because she's like her dad's got small fingers.
Right. You're perfect. Yeah, just like your tiny desk. It matches you perfectly.
It does. It does. But, hey, big show today. Got a lot to talk about. We're going to hit a lot of hot topics, including some things we threw on our Facebook page, including, we're going to talk about homeschool kids be able to play in public school athletics.
Yes.
So we're going to touch on that today. We're going to touch on the Hall of Fame ballot for 2020 in Major League Baseball. Who's a lock and who shouldn't even be on the ballot.
Agreed.
We're going to talk, a little bit of NFL and helmet throwing. And
crazy.
A lot of things to talk about today. We also start our new segment, Sammy. Hey, we finished Friday Night Mics last week. This week we start our new segment, the BTM Fast Break.
Oh,
we're going to talk to high school basketball coaches, and our first guest, none other than North Clay high school basketball coach, Mr. Josh Zink. So he'll join us today.
That will be magic.
Yeah, yes. the Cardinals looking for a big season and continuing to improve under Coach Zink. And then we'll wrap it up to preview our Thanksgiving. Next week, we got a Thanksgiving show, Sammy.
Yes, we do. So much to be thankful for, and it's going to be there's going to be a lot in that show.
There's going to be a lot in that show, but we can't pass up this show yet to get to it, so we got to get through this show. But we got a lot to talk about. We're going to take a quick break here from our great presenting sponsor, Ford of Tuscola. If you're looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle, now is the time to go see them. It's their 5th anniversary celebration going on. Visit FordofTuscola.com.
Is it almost a celebration?
That's right. It's a celebration. Or give them a call at 217-253-3353. We thank Bob, Doug, Barnsey, Nick, all the guys down there for their sponsorships and
little Mo with the gimpy leg.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Great service department too. But we're gonna take a quick break, hear from them, hear all about their 5th year anniversary celebration going on, and we'll be right back with the hottest topics in sports. This is the Behind the Mic Show from the Cheap Seats Sports Bar and Grill.
It's the 5th anniversary celebration at Ford of Tuscola. Celebrate with blowout pricing on all pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. All new inventory priced below invoice, including F-150 and Explorers. Don't miss out on Ford of Tuscola's 5th anniversary celebration happening all November. Visit FordofTuscola.com or call 217-253-3353 to celebrate with a new vehicle from Ford of Tuscola.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Behind the Mic Show. Keith Gibson, Sam Erwin, as we bring you another episode this week from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill. Sammy, a lot of hot topics going on, but none hotter right now than helmet throwing in the NFL. I know you saw the video, crazy. At least the clip. I don't know if you were watching that Browns-Steelers game last week, but Myles Garrett tore off Mason Rudolph's helmet, then swung it at him and hit him in the head. A lot of great memes. Hey, a lot of great memes from that.
Oh, has it not been? Yes.
But what's your take on that? I mean, should he's just suspended indefinitely.
Right.
Now, your boy from Florida, Pouncey, the line for the Steelers, was suspended as well.
Right. Let's see. From what I've seen, Myles Garrett suspended indefinitely, so that could go into next season as well. We don't really know. Pouncey 3 games, and Larry Ogunjobi.
Hey, good job on that.
That's pretty close, yeah. 1 game and a fine. So here's my thing on the whole thing. So you want me to go first, or would you?
I want your take on this.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, anytime you use a helmet like that as a weapon, and he basically, trying to injure someone, obviously that's uncalled for, regardless of what happens. Okay. So luckily, Pouncey stepped in, and kept him from getting the full force swing, because who knows, he might have killed the guy. I mean, you just don't know. So that is uncalled for in a game of football. But in saying that, where's Mason Rudolph's suspension, Keith Gibson?
That is a great question, Sam Erwin.
Because here's the way I look at life is everything is cause and effect. So on that play, Garrett came around. I think they called him for a late hit, but it really wasn't that bad, and he had him on the ground. Well, then what does Mason Rudolph do but grab his face mask and starts yanking on it? Then he kicks him in the groin, okay? So here's my thing. If somebody kicks you in the groin, Keith Gibson, you just going to smile and shake his hand?
No, because I really probably, if somebody kicked me in the groin, wouldn't be able to do a whole lot.
Right. But if you didn't drop to the ground, but he basically kicked at him and with cleats on, mind you, but in the groin area. So that's basically a recipe for a fight as well. Mason Rudolph started this whole thing. Okay, and maybe not a lot of people that are listening to this show agree with that, but if you go back and watch the film, he's grabbing the face mask, he's saying, who knows what he said to him, kicks him in the groin, and then it's on from that point. That still does not excuse what Garrett did, swinging that helmet. Once you do that, you have totally crossed all lines. But all of this was brought on by by Rudolph, and he received 0, nothing. Utterly ridiculous that he goes. Now it's back. I mean, he had his punishment. He threw 4 picks and is absolutely atrocious. So, maybe that's his punishment enough. But I don't think that they handled that right, because he was the instigator in the whole thing.
Well, let me tell you that the NFL, Sammy, has a official rule in there. Rule 12, Article 17. A player may not use a helmet that is no longer worn by anyone as a weapon to strike, swing at, or throw an opponent.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
For illegal use of a helmet as a weapon, it's a loss of 15 yards and automatic disqualification. If the foul is by the defense, it's an automatic first down. That's it. That's the rule.
Right. Okay.
So there's a rule in place for if this happens.
Right.
He was disqualified. Did the NFL give a knee-jerk reaction?
I was going to say, is
this?
Well, and I hear a lot of people say that it wasn't enough. They want him suspended for an entire next season as well. And here's the thing that Mason Rudolph could have done. He could have him arrested for assault and battery, if nothing else. I mean, you're using a helmet as a weapon, striking at someone's head. Luckily, like I said, Pouncey kind of deflected the blow, or God only knows, he would have hit him right on top of the head with it. Even more so, it kind of twisted the helmet, I think, to where it didn't have a full force as much. He could have killed the guy, right? So, did the NFL do too much of this suspension? Will the NFL Players Association appeal that and get some games knocked off? We shall see. Once again, it's uncalled for in the game of football. But the thing that people just aren't talking enough about for me is, why is Mason Rudolph get nothing? I can't understand it.
First of all, the NFL is struggling with ratings big time. Right.
Yeah.
This does not help.
It does not. No.
And if you're the NFL, this is just another black eye between the now you can challenge pass interference calls, which are happening too and far between. There's no flow to the game. I can't watch. It's really hard for me to watch an NFL game right now.
Yeah,
it is. And then this happens. It's just like, what are you doing?
Right. Well, and
Bro,
this
you're
goes
grown.
back.
You're a grown man.
Mhm.
You should be able to control your emotions.
Right.
I'm not blaming Rudolph. I'm not blaming Garrett. I'm blaming both of them. I think this cannot happen, should not happen. And if it does happen, suspend both of them. Throw them out of the league.
Right.
There's no room for any of this in the NFL.
That's right. Set the tone, because a lot of people have pulled away from the game because of things like this. People don't want to watch that stuff. They want to watch football. They want to see legal hits, great hits, stuff like that. But this stuff, no. It makes it look Bush League.
On a brighter note, Sam Erwin, I agree with it. It makes it look Bush League and half class.
Mm-hmm.
Did you happen to see the Indianapolis Colts lineman touchdown celebration? With the keg stand.
Keg stand, yes. So that was very well organized. And it's nice to know these players spend time at practice working on these touchdowns. So, but for a lineman to get to do it, how great, because how often do they really get to do these things?
And they did a keg stand, which I thought was that's what I like to see.
Right. And see, that's what the NFL, they have some fun things going on that people do like, but then they have something like this that totally takes everybody's attention. It's like, yep, see, it's a crap league. And also, let's not forget, the quality of football has not been great for the last several years. It's just not been great. It's terrible. And college football has surpassed it in my eyes. I know the NFL still gets ratings somehow. I think they've taken a hit, but it's got to improve. And this still goes back to me too. I want to make a point. Roger Goodell has sole ownership of levying fines and suspension. Where's the board? You need a board of people that could bring up, that has maybe like a player on it, maybe the union guy on it, an owner, things like that, where you get different perspectives. Because I guarantee you, many people in that league are saying, why is Mason Rudolph not getting anything out of this when he started the whole thing?
Right.
It still doesn't justify what Garrett did. Let me rephrase that again, or let me say that again. You have no right to swing a helmet at somebody. You just don't do that. But I will say this too about Mason Rudolph. You're a moron. You got your helmet ripped off and you're going at somebody. How did you think that was going to turn out? Even if you didn't get hit and have the helmet, you're going at a guy that is way bigger and badder than you are, and without your helmet on. That's one of the first rules of football that coaches would tell you. If there is a fight, leave your helmet on, because that helps protect you from a right hook.
Right.
It's like, boy, you are beyond stupid, Mason Rudolph.
Speaking of stupid.
Yes.
Well, we've had some comments about wanting to talk about the Bears, but there's not a whole lot to talk about because their offense is horrible. Their defense is horrible. They can't win a game. Coach Matt Nagy.
Fans are puking in the stands.
It's goodness. I did watch some of the Bears game last week. Tried to.
I tried to.
It was awful. I don't know. Mitchell Trubisky's not the answer, ladies and gentlemen.
Nope.
I'd love to give him an opportunity even more and more and more, but that hip injury seemed to come at a time when maybe wanted to go to a different way.
Yeah, I think that was kind of discussed on the sidelines there. You could see the coach had his play sheet up to where nobody could see what he was saying. And I think there was a discussion there of, we're going to say this just to help you out, but he is not the answer. But if you're the Bears, what do? You traded away the franchise for this kid, which was strike 8, and it has not panned out. Chase Daniel can't do the job. He's shown that. Eddie now can't kick. I think he missed another field goal. The defense is not playing the whole thing is just awful. And when your defense quits trying, then you know you're in trouble with Chicago because your offense is so bad.
Where is Khalil Mack been?
Haven't heard his name in weeks. So let's go back then, shall we? Because if I am correct, when we first started this podcast, or in the early stages, we laughed at John Gruden. My God, did we laugh at the Raiders and John Gruden?
I don't. Hold on. I'm gonna stop you there. I don't think it's all Mac. I mean, he's getting double, triple team. They're going away from him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Right.
But nobody else on that defense has stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but if you're Khalil Mack and the money that you're getting, I need some numbers out of you. Find a way. Whether it's the defensive scheme, I don't know, but he's making a lot of money. And John Gruden right now has the Raiders winning. He got a bunch of draft picks that he's put people in place now. I mean, with that kid from Alabama, that running back, and Derek Carr looks good again. And John Gruden right now looking pretty smart and all that to let that guy go and let that big money go. Who would have thought? Because everybody, us included, was laughing at John Gruden. My God! And now look what's happening.
Right.
So
No,
maybe the old ball coach had something figured out. So I don't know, we'll see.
I will say the offense needs reworking. You've got to run the football 10 times better to open the pass. And everybody knows that the pass opens a run when you can't do either, and you can't kick because everyday Eddie now can't hit a field goal to save his life.
Right.
Yeah, it's not good for the Bears, who are under 500, and they aren't going to make the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. So
nope.
And probably won't have a first-round draft pick because they've traded everything away.
I was going to say, but at least they'll get maybe a better draft pick than what they thought they could.
Right? Jiminy Christmas. But, hey,
Terrible.
Moving on from the NFL, let's talk about Major League Baseball. Released their Hall of Fame ballot for 2020, Sammy.
Mm-hmm. This should be interesting.
It will be. It will be interesting this year.
By the way, I want to give some credit to one of our listeners, Mr. Robbie Tackett, put this on there and really got the conversation going on his own Facebook page. So I want to give a shout out to give him some credit because he does listen to the show. So it got us going here. So this will be a good discussion. There's a lot of feedback that he had too on this.
Well, you've seen the ballot.
I have.
There are only a couple names on there, to be honest with you. And I'm a big baseball guy that I think are first ballot Hall of Famers.
Oh, I've got one.
You've got one. And it's probably the same one I have.
Well, one is, let's just stop right here and save time. The only guaranteed first ballot is one Derek Jeter.
The captain.
Number two, Derek Jeter. That's right. He is no doubt first ballot guaranteed Hall of Famer. That's not even the discussion. Might be unanimous. You know, I don't see why it wouldn't be. But I know they've never – have they ever given one of those out yet where it's unanimous?
Rivera.
Oh, well, then a trend has started, and he definitely earned it. Jeter, who would say no? How could you say no?
You can't. You can't. Jeter is a Hall of Famer, hands down.
Right. It's a given.
First ballot.
I mean, yeah, right. So
like
so that one we can just say, okay, that's great, and then move on. So why don't you go through the ballot, and let's see if we say yes or no.
I think that's a great idea. So we'll just start at the top. I've got it pulled up here, and let's start with Bobby Abreu.
Yep. Go ahead.
So you're going to say yes or no?
No.
Okay. Josh Beckett?
What did you say with Bobby Abreu?
No. I'll tell you what. We'll just go through, and when you say yes, just stop me.
Okay.
How's that work?
That works. Abreu, no. Okay, next.
Okay. Josh Beckett?
No.
Heath Bell?
I have no idea who that is.
Okay. Raul Ibanez?
No.
Okay. Ryan Roberts? Scott Rowland?
Scott Rowland, no.
I disagree with you.
What? You're going to put Scott Rowland in the Hall of Fame? I love him playing.
I'm not saying he's a first ballot.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I think Scott Rowland is a Hall of Fame third baseman.
Oh, well, maybe down the road he might get in.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm saying he's a Hall of Famer. He put up great numbers, was consistent, Gold Glover consistently. He was a Cardinal, and so you people out there who are listening know I'm diehard Cub fan.
He was a hell of a player.
I'm admitting that I think Scott Rowland is a Hall of Fame third baseman.
But we're talking about 2020 right now, so it's no.
Okay, so first ballot, no, though.
Yeah. Right.
Andrew Jones.
No.
Kurt Schilling.
Yes.
First ballot.
Yes.
Nope. I think steroids keep him off.
Was it ever proven that he was on steroids? Was that ever, or was that?
I don't think it was ever proven, but I think enough of the writers have an inkling and will keep him off.
Well, here let's just talk about him for a little bit. 216 wins, which is not like earth-shattering. You really need to get to that 300 wins, right? So that's not great.
Did you just throw out a stat for baseball?
Oh, dude, I got a bunch of stats. Everybody strap in. I did some research, so that's right. So 216 on the wins. That's okay. 3.46 ERA. All right, decent. 6-time All-Star, very respectable. 3,116 strikeouts, not bad. But here's for him, the bloody sock game, and then obviously with the Diamondbacks as well. So Red Sox, Diamondbacks, he was clutch when it mattered most. So when you got those 2 World Series, and he was, obviously he was with Randy Johnson, of course. I mean, they were both dominant with the Diamondbacks. But whenever he was with, the Red Sox in that bloody sock game, forever Lord. But you know what I think is going to keep him out is his life since baseball. He's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He's very, very opinionated, seems very negative about a lot of things, and I think a lot of people are put off by him. and I think that'll probably keep him off. I think he deserves to get in. What do you?
I don't. I don't.
And why is that?
I just don't. I think he, a 3.46 ERA, great. His 3,000 strikeouts, that's great. That's elite company.
Right.
Other than that, he was okay. But anymore, okay gets you into the Hall of Fame.
I was going to say, things have changed, haven't they?
Yes, they have. So let's keep going on the list here.
Okay.
Jeff Kent.
Yes.
What?
Yes, and I'm going to tell you why. This is why. What main position did he play?
He played second base, and he was one of the greatest second basemen as far as hitting that ever played. Defensively,
Thank you.
But
right. So
offensively, yes, he's one of the greatest second basemen ever to play the position.
So, as I get my stat sheet out here again, his numbers, 2,461 hits. All right, very respectable. 377 home runs, 290 batting average, 5-time All-Star MVP in the year 2000. When he was with the San Francisco Giants, man, boy, was he something. And 1,518 RBIs. So like you just said.
Can I tell you why he put up those numbers, though?
Well, it helped that he played with Barry Bonds a little bit
correct.
too, didn't it? Yeah. Right. But yes, I think he earned his way. Now, like you said, not the greatest fielder. No, he's never won a Gold Glove.
You're telling me he's a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I think he is due to the numbers and plus the position he played. There's not a lot of second basemen that are tearing the cover off the ball.
I don't see him being a first ballot.
Okay.
I don't. No, I think he gets in, but I don't. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. To me, a first ballot Hall of Famer stands above and beyond everything. I think Jeff Kent is a great second baseman. Offensively, he's one of the greatest of all time.
Right.
But I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think to be on that first ballot, I think you have to be a Derek Jeter.
Okay.
So we'll continue here. Gary Sheffield? No.
No.
Eric Chavez? No.
No.
Paul Konerko, longtime White Sox?
No.
Alfonso Soriano?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Cliff Lee?
No. Ugh. No.
Carlos Pena?
No.
Adam Dunn?
Why is he even on the ballot?
Because everybody goes on the ballot 5 years after you retire.
Jeez, even if – okay, all right. So Adam Dunn, no.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better.
Okay.
Jose Valverde.
I don't even know who that is.
I know you don't. That's what makes it great. Right. Here's a better one. I would guarantee you don't know who this is either. Okay. Sean Figgins.
You know, I've heard that name. But
Sean Figgins was actually a decent little versatile guy to play for the Angels for a while, but no.
He's not Hall of Fame. He's not Hall of Fame, no.
Here's a first time on the ballot guy. Rafael Furcal.
No.
Not a Hall of Famer at all.
Well, give me what you think on that. You're the baseball guy.
I think Furcal could be a late, when he's about 5 years from now, when he's not getting ready to get off the ballot, he could be a guy that sneaks in.
Okay. All right.
Other first-year guys on the ballot, Jason Giambi.
God, no.
J.J. Putz.
The name says it all.
Right. So here's some guys who are still on the ballot this year who have been on the ballot before but haven't made it.
Right.
Manny Ramirez.
Nope. It's a shame. What a great player, but wasn't he all roided out too?
No one has proof.
Well, that's the kicker, but that's what will keep him off is the baseball writers just don't want those guys.
Manny's a Hall of Famer in my book.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You look at his numbers. Still, I don't care whether, and I will stay this to the bitter end, whether you're on steroids or not, you still have to hit a 95-mile-an-hour baseball. That's not very big.
Right.
With a wooden bat. It's the hardest game to play in all of sports because of that.
Right.
He put up crazy numbers, not just power, but average numbers too. So in my book, I think Manny's a Hall of Famer. So here's another name for you.
Okay.
Todd Helton.
Yes.
I think Todd Helton's a Hall of Famer as well.
Yes. Here's some numbers that was just handed to me by my secretary. Home runs. 3. Now, I have also, not that I put some effort into this or not, Keith Gibson, but I also have his home and road stats as well because I know people are going to say, because he played his entire career in Colorado, his stats are skewed. Okay?
Right.
So, overall numbers for Helton, 369 home runs, 316 batting average, 2,500 hits, 5-time All-Star. One year he batted .372 with 140 RBIs. That's a heck of a year, okay? Now, let's see what else. 3-time Gold Glove winner, and also at home. So in his Colorado days, he played 1,141 games there. 227 home runs, 859 RBIs, 345 batting average, 1,394 hits. 1,106 games on the road, 142 home runs, 547 RBIs, 287 batting average, and 1,125 hits. So, you know, I mean, obviously it helps, but everybody benefits playing at home. Right? And I get it. Colorado thinner. I get, but we're not talking like he hit 600 home runs.
That
was not his.
Sammy, you just gave the stats. He hit 287 on the road.
Right. There's not a lot of people that can say that. So he's a phenomenal hitter, phenomenal player. I mean, I always thought he was great. And I think, personally for me, I think it's a no-doubter for him to get in. But you just never know that, you know, especially on first ballot, like you say, sometimes that's tough to get in.
Well,
but
it's
what
not
a great career.
The rest of these guys are on the first ballot guys. These are guys who have been on the ballot before. So let's continue with Larry Walker.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Tell me why no, then.
Larry Walker, I think, had a decent career. Had some great years in Colorado. Had some towards the twilight of his career. Played great in St. Louis. I just don't think Larry Walker is in the upper echelon of outfielders.
Okay.
I think he had great defensively. He had one of the best arms I've ever seen.
Right.
I just don't think he's an upper echelon outfielder.
Okay, and to me, as you just mentioned, one of the best arms I've ever seen. One of the better. He's definitely an all-around great player. 383 career home runs, 1,300 RBIs, only 2,160 hits. I was surprised to see that. But a .313 batting average, 5-time All-Star, and a 7-time Gold Glove winner.
Yeah.
So, and also a friend of the show, Kyle Drone, has actually shared something on Facebook that he's trying to get Larry Walker into the Hall of Fame as well. So there's petitions going around that Larry Walker deserves to be in. So, but he was a heck of a player all around, and he was good for a long time.
Kyle Drone, our good friend out of Dinger Bats. And he's wrong on this one, but it's okay. We'll let it pass. All right, so moving on here. Let's go Omar Vizquel.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Hands down.
Hey, and you know what? You want to know why? We just talked about Jeff Kent not long ago and how great he was offensively at second base, right? Omar Vizquel, abysmal offensive stats. He was not like Ozzie Smith. He wasn't, you know, you're not going to get a lot of home runs. You're not going to get a lot of RBIs, but he did his job, right? But he ended up with 2,877 hits. Okay?
Right. He played a long time.
24 seasons. I found out. I was like, oh boy, long time. So yeah, but 11-time Gold Glove winner.
Right.
Besides Ozzie Smith, the best fielder I've ever seen.
Hands down.
Phenomenal. And he's a
softest
three-time
hands. He had the softest hands.
Oh, and it's just so smooth, so graceful out there. But yeah, to me, he earned it due to what he did for his teams defensively. And he played in Cleveland for a long time, so I think he earned it. Earned it.
All right, Andy Pettitte.
Nope.
I'll agree with you on that one. I think Andy was a solid upper staff pitcher. Now, I wouldn't call him an ace, but a solid 2-3 guy in a staff for the Yankees, and had a nice career, but I don't think it was a great career. Billy Wagner.
No.
Really?
Tell me why.
You don't think Billy Wagner is one of the best closers ever to play the game?
Is that the guy that gave up the home run to Pujols that hasn't landed yet, or was that?
No, that was Brad Lidge.
That was Brad Lidge. That's Brad Lidge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Billy Wagner, left-hander, and he was good. He was damn good. But you know, here's why I say no right now, is because as you know, closers, unless you're Mariano Rivera, it takes a while. Look at Lee Smith. Look at that's a good point. I mean, there's others that it took a long time, so I can't see him getting in right now just because of it takes closers a while.
Okay, there's only a couple more names on this list, and we'll move on, okay?
Yes.
Roger Clemens.
No, never. Roided up freak bad person. So, what are your thoughts? And
I'm on the fence.
Great.
To be honest with you, Sammy, I'm on the fence with it.
Right.
Because, as I said, as hard as it is to hit a pitch – when you're on steroids, it's still hard. You still have to go through the motions mechanically. Now, does steroids possibly make you stronger and faster? And you know, maybe. But you still have to execute curveballs and sliders and know how to throw and know how to pitch.
Right. Well, here's the thing with Roger Clemens. You didn't need it.
Right.
Just like someone else we're going to talk about here in a little bit. You didn't need it because you were phenomenal as a rookie in Boston. He's a big guy anyway. You didn't need it. He had like 20 strikeouts in one game, did he not?
Correct, yep.
So, I mean, come on. Why'd you do it to yourself? Why tarnish your legacy? I mean, to pitch. I mean, I just don't understand. He still would have been great if he just left him alone. So, big old tough Texas guy, built for the long run, and for some reason, I don't know.
So the final one on the ballot here, and it's a lot of controversy around this one.
I thought I saw Sammy Sosa's name on there too.
We aren't talking about Sammy Sosa.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. Thanks so. Yeah, Sammy's not a Hall of Famer, ladies and gentlemen. He is not a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
And he's now white. But anyway, Barry Bonds.
Nope.
Barry Bonds is a Hall of Famer in my book, hands down.
No,
roids or not.
Yep.
Barry Bonds is a Hall of Famer in my book. For part of the reason I say this is when he played in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and started his MVP run of 7.
Yes.
Barry Bonds was an MVP then, and I think on the verge of becoming one of the greatest of all time. Mm-hmm. What he did in San Francisco, did he roid up? I mean, good Lord, yes, we all know he did. Look at the size of his head.
Right.
But you still have to hit that fastball. You still have to do the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Would he have hit that many home runs if he wasn't? No one will ever know. I mean, there's no. But as far as athletic talent, defensively, offensively, everything. Even if you take what he did in his career in Pittsburgh and move that into San Francisco, he's a Hall of Famer. There's no denying that.
Well, here's the thing, as you said perfectly not long ago, is in Pittsburgh, I will agree with you, hands down, one of the greatest players I've seen in Pittsburgh. And then for some reason, because he had it all, 5'2". I mean, man, the guy was at least 30-30, right?
Yep.
I mean, every year,
without
a doubt. Great fielder, great talent, and he, once again, just like Clemens, why did you do it? Why? And I think a lot of it was the jealousy with the McGuire-Sosa attention. As we know, Barry's just a little bit of an egomaniac. And
let's be honest, he's an a-hole.
Yeah. And that doesn't help either. And the shame of it is he was such a great player, and he ruined it by injecting many things into his body and then lying about it and all that. And so to me, I mean, I want to reward players that earned it. And I get what you're saying. I've seen plenty of big muscled up guys. That doesn't mean you can hit a baseball. You can get bodybuilders out there, and I bet they strike out every time. They never touch the ball once. So you do have to have some kind of skill, but you didn't need to do that. And so anything else you want to add to this?
I do actually. I don't think steroids have no place in the game of baseball, none whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And if they don't get in, Clemens, Sosa, Bonds, all these guys who used them and have known to be using them, if they don't get in, you sealed your own fate.
Now here's what I will say for these guys like McGuire, Sosa, Rafael Palmeiro. All these people that remember when they went and had to testify and that Clemens, Bonds. Okay, here's the thing. How many people that weren't caught were roiding as well? That was just a steroid era that God knows how many people were on roids. So here's the thing is if the majority of people are doing it and you're still way better than those that are doing it, then aren't you still really great?
Right. Yeah. It's
so
that's something, Sam Erwin, that's going to be a topic that's going to be debatable forever.
Forever. Right.
Because no one's going to know that. No one will ever know the truth.
Right. Yep. That's right. But
it'll be interesting to see who does get in, what the writers do, and
if I may, all of this is irrelevant until Pete friggin' Rose gets into the Hall of Fame.
Bingo!
It's an absolute and utter joke that he's not in there.
Right.
So until they do that, they can have the Hall of Fame in my book.
Well, I think they've got to make it. I also think they're letting anybody and everybody in too. Every Hall of Fame has to stricten up.
Yeah.
Some guys. I think they're getting too big, and because a lot of it's for publicity. and
Oh,
money.
of course it is. And you want to get towns represented to get the people there, and it gets eyes on the product.
Right.
Like when Harold Baines got in. No offense to Harold Baines. Is he a Hall of Famer? You know, I remember that name. I
Yes,
was like,
I actually will say Harold Baines is because I think he revolutionized the DH position.
Interesting. Okay. Well, and nothing against him. I mean, he's a heck of a player, but I just don't know. But over time, you know.
And when David Ortiz gets on the ballot next year in 2021, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, that one's no doubt. Because you talk about clutch, and yeah, that one, no doubt. Not one doubt.
All right, moving on, Sammy. Let's see. Let's talk about college football playoff. Nothing changes this week.
Mm-hmm.
Illinois back in action, though, Saturday at Iowa. Already bowling.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if they win.
Not really. But I don't think, Iowa's tough, man, especially at home. That's going to be a hard game for them. But they're already in, like you said. So basically, this is just playing with house money at this point. Then you got a terrible Northwestern team at home. So you're going to be looking at 7 wins. You're going to get a decent bowl, especially being out of the Big Ten, which is nice. And hopefully, like we talked about, hopefully Lovey can keep it going. Good dude that's, like you said early on, that he's changed the culture, and you want to give him some time. That's worked out a total flip of the season that we did not see coming, but good for them. So,
yeah,
so that's nice to see. But yeah, Iowa, we'll see. So
who the Gators got this week?
The Gators are off this week. And
Thank God. I don't have to listen to anything about them this week.
And then and they did win this past weekend. Thank you for asking. But
nobody cares.
They have Florida State.
That's right. I did see that next week.
Yes.
If they don't beat Florida State, Sammy, you might as well just send it home. Pack it in, send it home. Florida State, J.J. Lockwood, you might as well just go in a hole and hide till next season.
You know what? I wish we had time to bring him on the show, too, because I want to hear his thoughts on Florida State-Florida game coming up. I bet he does want to talk about it. But I was wrong on a prediction this past weekend. I predicted Georgia would lose at Auburn, and they did not. It was a close game. Close game, but Georgia pulled it out, and Georgia continues to win. Georgia continues to win ugly, but they're winning, and that's all that matters at this point. A win's a win. So, and Tua. Alabama lost Tua.
Yeah.
That was ugly. Yeah, he may not play again. We'll see. They said they caught it early, whereas Bo Jackson kind of had an injury and then kept moving on, and it made it worse. Tua, they got him in early because of that hip injury. And right after it happened and got it taken care of, they said they expect a full recovery. Here's my question for you. I know we didn't really plan this, I don't think. But if you're an NFL team.
Hold on. When do we ever plan anything?
Not much. But we do try to get some topics together. But this is just kind of off the beaten path, if you will.
I'm going to answer your question before you even ask it. I know where you're going with this. No.
Answer them.
No.
You do. I would not
an NFL quarterback.
No, and because here's the thing is he's not a bad quarterback. But he's small and he's very frail. It's been injury after
fragile,
injury.
Sam Erwin.
Yes, he is fragile, and I believe that's Italian. But yes, I would not spend a first-round pick on him. I would not wait till the 3rd or 4th. There's no way I would draft him that early. No way.
Other thing going on around that we forgot to touch base on earlier in the show, I want to make sure we touch base on is Colin Kapernick. Worked out for the NFL teams this week. This past week, I should say. I thought he looked pretty decent. Guy's been off 3 years. As we discussed on the last show, still better than a lot of quarterbacks in the league right now.
That he is. He was throwing a deep ball.
So how long till he signs?
Well, I just read today he's got a couple teams interested so far, and a lot of it's going to depend on injuries. As we know, this can happen, and that opens up a lot of avenues. He had several teams down there, I do believe. There was quite a few that were watching. So there's interest already. I mean, why would they come if they weren't somewhat interested to see? And you know what I liked about him too is he did it his way. The NFL tried to set it up on their own terms, and because there's that lawsuit between him and the NFL right now, and they tried to basically dictate to him how it was going to be. He said, "Nope, we're not doing it this way. We're going to do it this way," because they didn't want it filmed either for some reason. Right. And he wanted to get film out there so people could watch it and deliberate on if they want to sign him or not. But I thought he looked decent on what I saw, and I saw some guy put on a comment on Facebook, "Oh, he's throwing against air, way to go." A guy that probably flips burgers somewhere, and I thought, have you ever watched any college quarterback do his tryouts whenever the teams come to his
a workout?
Yeah, they throw against air and they just throw to people running routes. That's how it goes, guys. I just shook my head like, my God. But anyway, everybody's got an opinion, so that's fine. But we'll see. So is there a team that's going to jump on him? I don't know. What do you think?
I think there is. I think it's about time, and I hope all this ends soon.
Yeah. And, my fear for him is he's going to go to some team that's terrible, like a Miami, let's say, or like like you said, Cincinnati. I think you said last
I think Cincinnati's a perfect landing spot for him.
But here's the problem: is the team is so bad, so he's going to look bad too, and people going to say, "See, told you." He's awful.
And he might, even if he's great, he's still been on for 3 years. There's a lot of rust there, so it'll be interesting to see how this saga plays out. But hey, Sammy, let's take a quick break here from our sponsors, and then let's come back and let's talk about whether homeschool kids should be allowed to participate in public school athletics. How about that?
Ooh, saucy.
All right.
Yes.
Take a quick break here from our sponsor. We'll be right back on the Behind the Mic show from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill. You should feel secure with your insurance protection. Your local country financial agent, Lisa Ehrbacher in Flora, is committed to helping you understand your coverage and what gaps you may have. To get a free quote and ensure that you have everything that you need, call Lisa today at 618-662-3344. Feel secure with your insurance protection with country financial agent, Lisa Ehrbacher. Welcome back to Behind the Mic show. Keith Gibson, Sam Erwin, your host here on this Thursday, week before Thanksgiving. Sam Erwin, my favorite holiday of the year. A hot topic here in Central Illinois, Sammy, on Monday this week, Muhammad Seymour Schools passed a change in policy to allow homeschool students to participate in public school athletics. A lot of talk both ways on this, and I can myself can see both sides. But I'm going to tell you that I don't think it's right to let homeschooled students play in public school athletics. And here is why.
Okay. Tell me why you're wrong.
All right. Here's why I'm not wrong.
Okay.
If you're going to homeschool your student, and I know there's a lot of some of our listeners homeschool their student. That's great. That's fine. I have nothing wrong with kids being homeschooled. So I just want to set that point straight. But you choose to homeschool your child, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
You have a choice whether to homeschool or go to public school, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if you choose to homeschool your child, then are you forfeiting the activities they could have in public school? So if you want your kids to be in activities in public school, why not send them to public school?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I have a disagreement with this. If you want them to participate in activities in public schools, shouldn't you send your kid to public schools?
Okay.
You make the choice. It's no different than sending them to a private school. Mm-hmm. If you want your kid to go to a private school and they don't have these activities, well, why should they be allowed to be playing in a public school? There's a difference between a private and a public school for a reason. And I think there's a difference between a homeschool and a public school. You have the option. You have the choice to do one or the other. Now, I get why some people want to homeschool their children. I do. In this world, in this day and age, in this world, I completely understand it. It's a messed up world out there. Mm-hmm. So I get it. But you're also taking that chance of forfeiting those bonds and relationships and everything you can have by having public school activities. So that's why I don't agree with this. Sam Erwin, what's your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about and are 100% wrong yet again, which seems to happen on this show and we debate. So let me tell you why you're wrong again, as many of the listeners at home will agree with, is this. As you said, it's the parent's choice to keep that kid at home, whatever the reason may be. Okay, maybe they don't agree with the subjects being taught at school. Maybe they don't like certain teachers. Maybe they don't like how discipline's handled. I don't know. They have their own specific reasons that they want to do that. Okay, that is their choice. But here's my thing. Do those parents that homeschool their kids pay the same amount of taxes as those parents that have kids in the public school?
I'm sure they do. Actually, you know what? That's a great question. Do they?
Yes.
Do they have to pay the same taxes?
Oh, yeah, because guess what? Old people always complain whenever the tax rate goes up because they say all the time, I don't have kids in school. Why do I have to pay these raising taxes for school?
Okay, so they
yes,
do. Yes.
So, yes, everybody's got, taxes. Unfortunately, that's, as we know, that's one of those guarantees in life is death and taxes. So, but in saying that, they all pay their taxes, all right? So, once again, you have your right to do that. Now, what I will say is if at school there are fees maybe to play extracurriculars. Some schools charge an extra fee. I do know that, whatever that may be to play football, baseball, whatever the case may be. If that's the case, then I would assume that they would charge those homeschool kids the same as they do everybody else of, okay, you don't go to school here, but you will pay the fee. That's fine. I have no issue with that because that's fair to everybody. But my whole thing is this, okay, is as a school district, even if school districts as adults, whatever the case may be, your job is to provide the best possible options for kids. All right. Just because that kid doesn't go to that school doesn't mean he doesn't deserve to play football. That's just me. Or basketball, baseball, whatever the case is. So, if it's our job to provide the best things for kids, then how can you keep a kid from wanting to play football just because he doesn't attend classes in that school? His parents pay taxes. He's a good kid. My guess is his grades are probably really good, so you don't have to worry about that. A lot of times the discipline is really good as well. And if he's a heck of an athlete, let us not forget there was a law made in Florida for a homeschool kid that actually ended up getting to play high school sports in Florida. And it ended up going to like the high courts to get it passed in the state of Florida. You don't know who that player was?
Let me guess, Tim Tebow.
Correct. It's the Tim Tebow law. So they actually had to go to court for these things. So I think what Muhammad Seymour did is a great thing. It gives kids the chance to play. Because here's the thing too, man, whenever you're homeschooled a lot, you may not have the option of being around other kids as much. Once again, not the kid's fault. But this gives him a chance to be around.
Whoa. You're exactly right on that. I will not disagree with you on that point right there. That it does give the kid, the student athlete, a chance to be around other kids, build bonds, build friendships that he probably doesn't have being at home. Right. That's my point to this. If you want to have your kid build these bonds, then send them to public schools.
But what if the school is crap? Nothing against Muhammad Seymour. That's not what I'm saying. But what if the school, there's something that the parent has an issue with, whatever the issue may be, there's something that they don't like, or they just want to have control of that situation to make sure they're being educated properly. They don't agree with something.
If you're saying they need to be educated properly, so you're saying that the school district, wherever it may be, and we're not saying Muhammad Seymour, we're just using it as an example because they passed this.
Right.
But you're saying that then the education system, there's something wrong with it.
Oh, let me tell you, from someone that spent 10 years in the education system, you bet your ass there's a problem in school districts. Yeah, and we can get into that real quick if we want. Yeah, there's a problem. When you got 7 board members that barely graduated high school, but they're creating the rules that kids are supposed to follow and telling teachers what they're supposed to do and teach and telling administrators how they're supposed to run their school even though they have no clue, yeah, there's a problem right there. So, yeah,
I won't disagree.
I don't blame parents for taking their kids out of public schools. Are you protecting the kids while they're at school? That's another issue as school shootings are on the rise all across the country. What are you doing to protect my kids?
Now, I want to make myself perfectly clear on this to our listeners, to you, and to everybody. I have absolutely nothing wrong with a kid being homeschooled. Nothing. Okay. Nothing. Right. I do think they get a great education doing that as long as it is stuck to a
certain curriculum. Right, that they have, and tests that they have to take. Yes. 100%.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I have nothing wrong with that. Right. My thing with it is, though, by choosing that, as I told you, I see both sides of this. I do. But I just feel if you're going to play in athletics, you need to be a part of that school. Because you think about this, you go at 3:30 to say basketball practice, then at 6 o'clock you go back home. You don't see the kids again until another 3:30. You're not really forming that bond except for those few hours you're in basketball practice. Well, that's my problem with it.
Well, and as you know, a lot more bonds are created in a sport than there is in a classroom.
Yes, I agree. Okay. But those bonds also happen in the classroom too and everything else, that you're around them more.
But let me ask you this.
Issue with it.
Let me ask you this then. What does it hurt to have that homeschool kid come and play? What does it hurt?
It doesn't hurt anything. Nothing at all.
Thank you.
It doesn't.
If it hurts nothing, and you know what, it's going to benefit the team because you're going to have a good kid that's had an excellent education. Hopefully, an excellent education at home, has been brought up the right way. Probably a very polite kid. I remember there was a kid that came in Metropolis when I was teaching, who had been homeschooled. All right, he ended up coming. I think it was his 7th or 8th grade year, or something like that, to Metropolis. I'll leave his name out of it. He's a good kid. I just seen him in Paducah the other day. Great kid, very bright kid, one heck of a football player as well. Turned out just fine. Now he did end up coming to school at that point, but he probably could have played. I don't know what the rule was.
Let's take sports out of this. Let's take sports and just talk extracurriculars.
Okay.
Do you think this passes if it's just extracurriculars?
What do you mean?
Club, Spanish club.
Oh, right. Any other clubs or
right?
So what you're
if
saying
you take sports out of it,
right?
Is this benefiting sports, or is this benefiting the child, the student?
I think it's benefiting the child. Will it help the sports team? I'm sure if he or she, whatever the case may be, if they're great athletes, yes, it will help the team. But I agree with what you're saying there is if you're going to open up the sports, what about the other clubs? Can they be a part of the other clubs? And I'm just of the opinion of this, is even if the kids homeschool, if they want to be involved somehow in the school, maybe they can't educationally. And sometimes it's a
But
health
they can. They have a choice to be involved educationally as well.
It's not their choice. The parents a lot of times are making the choice.
That's my point to this, though. That's my point. It is a choice. But you said it is a choice.
It's not the kid's choice all the time. It's the parent's choice. And you can't blame or punish the kid for the parent's choice. You know that better than anyone. You have a child. If you make poor decisions, you want somebody to
I don't make poor decisions, Sam Erwin. You know that.
Right. But that's just my whole thing.
No,
everything that they do educationally should be to benefit the child.
Right. I agree with that. Everything should be to benefit a child and raise a child and grow as a father. I completely understand what you're saying. But my point of all this is, are we looking just at the sports side of this?
Well, if that's what they passed, I mean, then yeah, that's what they're looking at.
That's the issue I have with it.
Right.
Because if you're going to do that, if they want to be in biology club, then you got to let that homeschool student be in biology club. Whether they've taken biology at their homeschool or not, at home,
well, and here's the thing too that we need to understand is, even though the kid is homeschooled and that's a parent's choice, we agree on that, and it may be the kid's choice too. Some kids come home and say, I don't want to go to school anymore. I'm getting bullied. Okay, that's a huge issue in schools.
And that's why I said I have no problem with homeschooling, especially in that situations.
Right. So if the kid's getting bullied because of things in the hallway, then he shouldn't be punished by going and getting a homeschooled education, and then he still wants to play sports. That shouldn't be held against him or her, whatever the case may be. But damn it, you got me distracted and off topic. I had a good point I was going to make. And
you didn't.
I did. I had something that was really great. I don't know what it was.
I will say a lot of our listeners, just from the feedback we got here this week, there's both sides to each of them.
Right.
But Justin Cook may have the best one.
Okay.
They should have basketball practice at the homeschool house, and the mom should make cookies.
That's a win-win, baby.
Win-win for everybody.
That's right. And you know what? Actually, it's come back to me now. I will say this. The homeschool parents, they have chosen that. But here's the thing is, why I think it's good that the school district is willing to work with them on this is because that homeschool parent can't provide, a football team for him. You know what I'm saying? They can't provide a basketball team. So the school is nice enough, the school district is nice enough to say, okay, that's fine. Come and play, because it helps the kid overall. And it's nice that the homeschool parents and the school district can work together for the benefit of the child, because the parents can't provide that at home. Yes, there's certain things. You could probably play on some travel ball teams like basketball, like AAU. That's not affiliated with the school. But, football, that's a little bit harder to do. Or, baseball, there's some travel teams that you could do that you don't necessarily have to be in school. But football is one of those that would be.
Yeah, there's definitely good points and bad points to both sides, I think. But let's be.
Your points are terrible, and everybody knows it. Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's about the kids. Number one. Number two. I think. I don't know. As I said, I see both sides. But I'd like to see more details on what it enthralls. Does that make sense?
Yes, entails. Yes.
Entails. Yeah, that too.
You're so good. You're so good with words.
Thank you. I got that. Beer. Good. But no. So a good topic. I'm glad we got some feedback. I'm glad everybody was chimed in as well. We always enjoy that on your as we put things on Facebook. The more you do that, the more we'll talk about things on the show.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I know we're getting ready to wrap up here on this part, but did J.R. Lewis not get back in touch with you to discuss Kentucky?
Not.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Hey, you know what thing we did mention too before we wrap up and take a quick break before we move on to our BTM Fast Break segment. A lot of input on the Kansas game the other night.
Yes, let us discuss. we don't have to spend a lot of time with this, but I want to hear from you first. So
I loved every single second of that.
Okay.
Except for the trash talk after he dunked.
Okay.
Play hard to the whistle.
So those that didn't see it, Kansas is up by damn near 50 on a nobody school, of course. And they are up big.
Was it Monmouth?
I think Monmouth. I think you're right. And Kansas now has got the ball. They're just dribbling it out.
18
the game
seconds.
Is over. 18 seconds. Showing respect, because here's the thing. Had Kansas taken a shot of winning for a dunk, oh, good Lord, people would have lost their minds on that, because that was classless.
Right.
So what in turn happened was basically a bench player for Monmouth. I don't think he's a starter or anything, not necessarily a bench player, but a substitute, that came in, stole the ball, came in from behind the Kansas player, stole the ball, drives down, dunks, and then starts talking smack like he just won the national championship. So Keith Gibson, tell us your thoughts there.
I loved it until he talked smack.
Okay.
I absolutely love that he was playing hard. It's a guy who may be going after maybe some more minutes, something like that. If you're Kansas, I don't like when teams just dribble out and other teams let them have it. It's just like, okay, we've given up. At least pass the ball around a little bit, pass it back and forth or something.
Uh-huh.
I like the kid's desire. I like the kid's heart. I liked it until he started mouthing, but you're down 50. Don't mouth. Just shut up and sit down.
Right.
Go eat your chicken.
That's a chicken. That's right. Well, would you like my point of view on this?
I would.
I think it was the most Bush League play I've seen in a long time from a scrub that probably barely ever gets off the bench. And the reason why I also say that, did you see his coach's comments after the game?
I did not.
That kid's not going to play for a while. He was embarrassed by him. It embarrassed the team. And like you said, what really made it worse was the smack talk after, when you're down by 50.
Hold on.
And you're talking smack.
Hold on. The coach is saying it was bad, embarrassed the team. You know how many people know about Monmouth now?
This is not in a good way. It's not in a good way. But here's my thought, too, is where was that energy during the whole game?
Well, it was probably there, but Kansas is just a little bit better.
Right. And so then Kansas is taking mercy on them by dribbling out. Kansas probably could have scored 150, 160 points if they wanted to. They could have. But they didn't, and they throttled it back, and they're just dribbling out. And then this kid, we appreciate the hustle, the desire. No, that was a punk move that – come on,
It's one I'd have made on you.
What's that?
I'd have made that move on you. Minus the dunk.
Minus the steal or the speed or right? You don't play defense. Everybody knows that, so that's not going to happen.
Oh, I'd have been sneaky about it. I'd have been sneaky like he was.
So, but then, like I said, the icing on the cake was talking smack after, when you're still down by, 48?
Yeah.
And I think did he get teed up for taunting? Yes. So he got teed up as well for taunting. He just made it even worse, and it was the most embarrassing thing I've seen from a college basketball player in quite some time.
Agreed.
So hopefully he learns from it.
Hey, but I got people talking. Gave us something to talk about on this show as well.
Well, yeah, like I said, not in a good way, but it does give people something to talk about. But no, I don't consider it hustle. I consider it, look at me, guys, look what I did. I thought it was a very selfish play on his part. I think it made his team look bad, made his coach look bad. And I think he tried to put the spotlight on himself. It was not hustle. It was just, look at me, and then I'm going to go down and dunk. Come on.
I was surprised he dunked.
That was actually impressive. Yeah, that was impressive. Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and we'll debut our BTM Fast Break with North Clay High School basketball coach Josh Zink. You're listening to the Behind the Mic Show from the Cheap Seats Sports Bar and Grill.
This is Dr. Katie Burmeister with Back to Action Chiropractic in Flora and Salem. I have 20 years experience treating everything from injuries and accidents to pregnancy and pediatrics. We give you the care you need without inflating your bill with unnecessary therapies. We accept most insurances, so give us a call at 618-662-4828. Back to Action Chiropractic. No gimmicks, just good chiropractic.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Behind the Mic Show from the Cheap Seats Sports Bar and Grill. Your host, Gibson and Sam Erwin, bringing you our newest segment, the BTM Fast Break, where we have high school basketball coaches in from around the area and all over central and southern Illinois to talk about high school basketball as that season is upon us. And Sam Erwin, we have a wonderful guest, North Clay basketball head coach, Josh Zink. Coach Zink, thank you for joining us here on the Behind the Mic Show. Welcome to the Behind the Mic Show, your first time on.
First time on. I'm thrilled to be here. This is a big-time show. I've been watching you guys for a long time, just begging Sammy to get on here. And no, I appreciate you being on here with you guys tonight.
We got a big season. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Keith. I'll ask after you go.
A big season coming up, Coach. You had your night with the Cards last Friday, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you've got a big season coming up. Now you start the 25th. Is that correct?
Well, we actually start the 26th, which is next Tuesday, and I may be off on the date where we play Woodlawn our first game. Our first 3 games are very difficult. We play Woodlawn, who's ranked 11th in the state, and we play St. Anthony, who's ranked 4th in the state, and then we play Casey, who's ranked 7th in the state. So we're going to have a tough go the first 3 games, but yeah, we're looking forward to it. Yeah, stack the schedule there.
No kidding. Talk about competition early.
Yes,
that's
sir.
Right.
Yeah. So I have a feeling like we'll know where we're at after those first 3 games, and so we can work on a lot of stuff after that.
Right. A good test. Yeah. A good barometer of yes.
Absolutely.
Coach, we want to thank you for being on. Now, for those that are listening at home, we have literally hundreds of followers. I want to make sure that we get this right. You spell your last name like Z-I-N-C, like the element. Is that correct? Zink, like the element?
No, that's not correct, Sam. It's Z-I-N-K.
Oh, I'm sorry. Keith, I just want to make sure that our listeners got and you are new to the community of Louisville. Is that correct?
Well, Sam, I've actually lived here most of my life, and we grew up. My family's been here for many generations, and so no, I've been here a long time, Sam.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you. You know what?
Anyway, back to basketball. Back to basketball, Coach. What do we have returning this year for the Cardinals, and what can we expect out of the Cardinals? We got some size, we got some speed. Are we looking to push the ball? What should everybody be looking for from North Clay?
Keith, I can tell you're a true journalist because you went away from those questions Sammy were asking and got to the good stuff. So here's what we're looking at. We've got a pretty good, decent team this year. I feel like we're going to be okay. We had a kind of a breakthrough year last year. We went 22-10, and that was the first time that Louisville had won 20 games in about 20 years. So it was an exciting year, and we're looking to build off that. We got a lot of guys that returned. We got the Tyson Jones and Luke Fleener. They both started last year. And then we've got some juniors that started mostly their JV games, and now they're kind of jumping up to the varsity level. They come with a little experience off the bench as well. That's Ian Bailey and Lane Holkenbrink. And then we have a junior named Ethan Bible who got a couple freshmen that are going to play a role, and then a couple other sophomores that can play a role as well.
A lot of names out there that you've heard around the North Clay, Louisville area for a long time. Holkenbrink, Bible, Bailey. You know, it's just it must be some of that water up there. They just keep producing athletes for you.
Well, we do. There's a lot of names that just kind of stick around, and the thing is, when you say the water, I always tell people we grow them about 6 foot here, and that's it. They don't get any taller. There's a lot of the same names, and they're all growing about 6 foot, and we can't boost them up any higher than that. So we try to take advantage of that and play a different style of basketball, and we play really hard-nosed defense and try to get the ball up and down when we can, but real discipline from our standpoint is how we do it, and try to win games that way.
Speaking of, Coach, speaking of great athletes, Louisville, back when I was in high school at Flora, Louisville was always known for great baseball. Great baseball. Right. Yeah, and back when I was in high school, they had a phenomenal team. And since you said, as I'm just learning, that you've always been from Louisville, what was it like? And it looks like we're around the same age. What was it like getting to watch people like Chris Fleener and Wes Turner play live? How great was that?
Well, those guys were great players. I mean, you got Chris, he went on to play at Milliken, and then, Wes came on there that senior year and did a good job helping that team. Of course, you also have Andy Haynes, who's now the hitting coach for the Milwaukee Brewers. They had Toby Pierce, who's the principal there at Flora. That team was really stacked. So, yeah, and, I actually played on that team as well, Sam.
Oh, you played? You played baseball?
I did. I played baseball back in high school. I played in grade school as well. And then, we're about the same age, so I'm a little surprised you're not aware of this. But then I actually got to play up at Eastern Illinois University for 4 years as well. So, yeah, I was on that Yeah, I was on that team as well, Sammy.
No offense, Coach.
Oh,
Sammy, what are you doing?
I'm sorry?
Did you just – are you on something tonight?
No. Why?
Oh, okay, well, your questions are coming from left field. No pun intended.
Well, baseball pun. No, Keith, I'm trying to get to know the coach here, and these are my questions. You have questions for the coach. I also have questions, so you just stick to your question. I'll stick to mine. Just trying to get to know the coach here. That's all. And, Coach, thank you for being honest and filling me in.
Yeah, Sammy, we actually used to hang out a lot in high school. I guess you're not putting that together. You don't remember that.
Josh, I'm going to be honest with you. I played a lot of football, took a lot of hits to the head. CTE is not something to laugh at or take lightly because things kind of, in and out. Yeah. I remember Andy Haynes. I remember Wes Turner. I remember Chris Fleener. I remember all those guys. Your name, it's not coming to me yet, but at some point through this interview.
I get it. I get it. The football thing. I get the football thing. I saw you get sacked and hit a lot of fumbles, a lot of interceptions. So I totally understand.
Yeah, that's kind of a gray issue as well. I don't remember any
me.
Turnovers. I remember the sacks, but the turnovers I don't remember.
So I apologize. That's on me.
That's okay.
Coach, let's get back to basketball. And while you're here on the BTM Fast Break, you're welcome, Coach. You're welcome. But you got a lot of talent. As you said, coming off a 22-10 season, 3 tough games. It's a long season, though. Are you deep? Do you have some depth on the bench that can, you talked about some juniors coming up from the JV level. What kind of offense are we going to run? We're going to run a little triangle? We're going to run, a 4 motion? What are we looking at running?
Well, you two being from Flora, at least I think Sam was from Flora when we think about it.
I was, correct.
You'll appreciate what we're trying to do on offense because we're implementing the old Flora shuffle offense, the old Tom Welch shuffle this year. So when I was in school and we played Flora fresh soft because I don't know why, but Flora didn't want to play us my senior and junior year, but that's another story. Yeah, that's another story.
A deeper story.
We dropped 25 wins that senior year. But anyway, we played them in fresh soft, and that was the toughest offense I ever had to guard. I told myself, one point, if I ever get the coach, I'm going to run that offense. And I haven't the first 2 years because didn't feel like we were quite capable of it. But we got a lot of kids now that are kind of 2 years into the program, kind of get a good feel for it. And so, we're going to run some shuffle. We're going to run some old school basic flex. And we'll basically, one of the biggest things we try to do is play hard-nosed defense. And that's kind of been the routine at Louisville over the years when we've had good teams. They've been mostly defensive teams. So that's kind of what we're looking at.
How's the conference looking so far? I mean, what do you know about the conference? What have you seen what do you know about guys returning from other schools? How should North Clay stack up in the NTC?
Yeah, great question, Keith. You continue to ask great questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, just there'd be no problem if you and I would just like to talk.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So now you asked about the conference. I appreciate that question. Great conference this year. St. Anthony ranked 4th in the state, and then we have Altamont, who is always really good. They're a 20-win team every year. St. Elmo is going to be good. Diedrich is a good team. Windsor, Stu Strauss. There's a lot of really good teams. The National Trail is a really good basketball conference. I think there's 2 reasons for that. One is the tradition. So you got kids growing up in those towns that follow basketball, and they just grow up into it. And number 2 is the coaches. We have a lot of really good coaches in the National Trail, a lot of smart guys and that know basketball really well. And it lays it out for a very, very competitive conference, which we hope to be able to compete in.
Josh, even though, Keith obviously is asking great basketball questions, I'm more of a let's get to know you as well, well-rounded, because I think our listeners like that. And a lot of them are just getting to know you too. So what are your weaknesses? Mine's ice cream. What about you?
Well, could we get to another question? Is there any chance we can move on from that question?
We can circle back if you need to think about it. We can circle back to that.
Well, let's circle back.
Let's talk. Let's get back to the basketball coach. Weaknesses as far as, do you have any weaknesses in your team? Let's go that route. Do you see anywhere where you guys will maybe lack, maybe size? Is there anything there for you that you see as possible weakness, not just early on, but maybe down the road?
And again, Keith takes us back to where we probably should be on here. So I appreciate that. But yeah, so we always struggle with size, Keith. Like I said, we're normally around 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", as a lot of small schools are. And so that's always going to be a weakness. We're never real tall. But we also try to take that as an advantage. We're most of the time a lot quicker than the other team. And really, it's a lot about our attitude and intensity, because we really try to get after it on a defensive end. You know, they always say defense wins championships, and we've never been really strong offensively. So all of a sudden, if we can play defense the way we're capable of playing and at a high level, we can stay in games. And that's what we hope to do, is stay in games and see what happens at the end. That was our strategy last year, and we had a real nice season last year.
How's the shooting going to be? I know a lot of teams and a lot of everywhere in basketball, every level now, it's all about, can you take and make the three?
Yes. Yeah, the game has changed.
Do you have some shooters on your team who can step back and make those threes on a consistent basis?
I feel like we do. Luke Fleener, Luke's is a senior. He started some as a sophomore, started a lot last year. He's able to hit shots in a nice way. Ethan Bible as well is a really good shooter. We probably got our whole, our 5 guys there that are upperclassmen. All of them will be able to hit some threes. But, offensively wise, if we had anything to improve on last year, it was our offense. Sometimes we would be able to get in a little bit of a rut, but we were able to stay in the games because of our defense. So just to kind of wrap it all around there, I think we'll be able to hit some shots this year, whereas last year we kind of struggled with it.
Well, we want to take up too much time of your time, Coach, but I hate to ask this question. Sam, do you have any other questions for Coach Zink this evening?
I do. Once again, as we're just trying to get to know you, I'm sick of seeing this on Facebook. Are you on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. A lot of us are. It's very popular. But I just want to get kind of your ratio, kind of your opinion on this. On a scale from 1 to 10, how sick of you and how intolerable are you of baby pictures? I mean, I'm sick of it. Big deal. You've had a baby.
Coach, I'm sorry.
Woo-wee.
Coach, I'm sorry.
I want his opinion. We're getting to know him, Keith. We're getting to know people here. It's not just all about basketball. Well, how sick of you are that, Zink? Any thoughts or any opinions?
Well,
Coach, you don't have to answer that. It's okay.
No, Keith. I want to answer his questions. Sammy, I really don't have any problem with baby pictures. I think they're great. They're a new life. Babies are a wonderful thing, and if I see a couple baby pictures every day on Facebook, it'll help me turn my day around. So I'm not sure.
Like a cat video. I mean, that puts a smile on your face, right? I mean, something like that.
Do you like cat videos?
I'm a fan. Yeah,
okay.
I'm a fan. Yeah. Yes.
Well,
now, once again, bad day. If I come home, there's a cat video or two, like you just said, turns it all around. But babies, I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. But a cat video always puts a smile on my face. So
what's interesting about that, Sammy, or Sam, since I don't know you as well as I thought I did, but is that I don't like cat videos at all. I'm not a cat video guy at all. It's interesting how opposite we have become of each other, and the fact that you don't even remember me. I mean, we played baseball together one summer, Sam. I mean, I think you did take some hits to the head, possibly.
Yeah, it is. Once again, it's slowly starting to come back. I didn't realize that you hated cats. Yeah. Are you more of a dog person?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I'm just to get back. I remember you striking out a lot, Sam, when you were at the back.
You know what?
When we played.
I do.
Coach, it hasn't stopped. He struck out a lot then. He strikes out with women. He strikes out a lot of things now.
I'm the king of swing, but nothing hits. That's right. But I can field it. Can't hit for nothing. Yeah.
You got to take shots to score.
You're right. And one thing I do want to ask, too, is obviously you're, as we're learning tonight, coach of basketball at Louisville. And I remember, as things are foggy, but I do remember back in the day, Louisville had a basketball coach named Ron Reed. Good coach, very intense individual.
Yes.
Would get into it, man. And for some reason, he always had a sweater on, okay? And but I do recall that sweater wouldn't make it probably 5 minutes into the game. Mad, sweater's off, and we're into it, very intense. So I want to ask you, will you wear a sweater to every game? That way you can just rip it off to get the intensity going like Coach Ron Reed.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's an easy question. The answer is yes. And so, Coach, I played for Coach, and he would actually take the sweater. He would wear the sweater on purpose, in my opinion. Don't have insider knowledge. But he would take the sweater on a bad call. He'd grab it. He had really good form right here.
Yes,
and
he did.
Grab it and pull it over his head, and the crowd would go crazy. The crowd
it's like Hulk Hogan when he ripped the shirt off. He'd get the crowd going.
And he'd have the music in the background playing. Coach would wait for that music to start, and then he'd go over here. And yeah, so the sweater normally didn't make it past the first quarter, depending on how the team was doing and how the referees were doing. Normally, if the referees were a problem, the sweater would come off over the head. He would throw it down to about the fourth guy down on the bench. That guy was instructed to take the sweater, put it under his seat, and then get focused on the game again.
And it worked like a charm.
I would do that in a heartbeat. It motivates. Yeah.
Oh, outstanding. I want to see that.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Good question, Sam.
Thank you.
Good question.
Yeah, that was the only one you've done all night. Coach, when's the first home game? So you've got Woodlawn, St. Anthony, and who else coming up first three?
Casey. Yeah, Casey.
Yeah.
Casey Westville.
So who's your first home game of the year?
Yeah, our first home game's Tuesday night. We play Woodlawn. And then we travel up to St. Anthony. We have a week off the following Tuesday night. We go up to St. Anthony and play. That's a conference game. And then we return home for homecoming against Casey. Of course, our homecoming is in a different season than you guys are used to. It's obviously your football homecoming. Right. Ours is basketball. So we're looking forward to the year, though. It's going to be a lot of fun for us and the guys. And hopefully we can get a lot of people in the community to come out. They really showed up last year, and it was really cool.
Well, Coach, thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming on the show. We know you're a fan. We're a fan of yours, and we hope we can have you back throughout the season to maybe get to know you a little bit better and get to know your team a little bit better. I do apologize for Captain America next to me who had random questions this evening. Good luck to you Tuesday night. Happy Thanksgiving to you and to your family. Of course, your family is Zink Building Center down there in Louisville.
Yeah, we have a business in Louisville, and we also have rental and apartments throughout Southern Illinois. And so, but I just want to say thanks for having me, Keith. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Keith.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you guys having me, and I'd love to come back throughout the season and chit chat, and maybe Sammy will be feeling a little bit better and be able to recall some things better.
Who knows?
You know,
Josh, we'd love to have you, and I am, as you can tell, more of the hard-hitting questions, getting to know the well-rounded individual. That's what we're here for. People out there want to get to know you, and if you're going to be on every week, they want to know the ins and outs of you, not just basketball, and that's my job. And if Keith doesn't like it, maybe we can just have a discussion off air. I do what I can to add to this show.
Well, that cat video question really packed a punch.
It did.
Yes, exactly. So I guarantee you people they'll be like, you know what? Even though Josh Zink hates cats, he does love dogs. So half the population is going to like you, half's going to dislike you. That's it. It's just like being president. That's the way it goes. So, yeah.
Good point. That is a good point.
Ladies and gentlemen, North Clay head basketball coach Josh Zink, we thank you for joining us. This has been the Behind the Mic Show Fast Break, our first segment. We're going to take a quick break here from our sponsors. We'll be right back here on the Behind the Mic Show.
Bees Trees, your local ISA certified arborist with over 10 years experience, specializing in tree removal, tree trimming, and with free estimates. Call Greg Miller of Bees Trees today at 217-260-4551.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Behind the Mic Show. Keith Gibson, Sam Erwin, your host. We thank Josh Zink of the North Clay Cardinals as he's our first guest on the BTM Fast Break as we bring you some interviews with high school basketball coaches during the high school basketball season this year, and look forward to that, and best of luck to Coach Zink. And Sammy, great show today. A lot of topics, a lot of hot topics, I should say.
Yes.
We got a lot of debates.
Good debates. Yes, that's good. So hopefully we get some feedback from people and see what they think and see who was correct.
Yeah.
Who was right.
Now, next week, Sammy, we're going to tell everybody thank you for listening to this show, but next week you're going to hear a little different BTM show from us. Because why? It's Thanksgiving. I'm going to be about 30 pounds heavier. No, it's all about saying thanks and gratitude. We're going to talk some sports. We're also going to have fun. So that way, if you're on the drive to your in-laws or your parents or to a family Thanksgiving dinner, you have something great to listen to. We got some great interviews, including Sammy. You ready for this? Mike Namoff, Big Mike from This Is It Furniture and Mega Events Auction is going to join us.
Downer, and a free onion.
That's right. Mike's going to join us. right here at the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill to talk about his mega events auctions and things that he does for charity work. As far as some galas he has. I mean, he's been all over the country doing this with big-time names, including David Ross, new Cubs manager. He's had Kyle Schwarber, Jim McMahon, some of the Bears. He's had some big names do some big events with him.
He knows important people, Keith.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Well, he knows us now. He'll know us, too, as well.
Right.
But yeah, we'll hear from him. You'll have some guests on to talk Michigan, Ohio State, correct?
Yes, we'll have they listen to the podcast as well. We'll have the Crims on and maybe special guests. But yes, we'll be talking the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry is the big game that's coming up. Always a battle. So so I got a special guest for them, and we'll let them kind of debate. Let us know who's going to win.
We're also going to talk about this or that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sammy, do you put the toilet paper over or under when you put it on? I know you probably don't even put it on a roll, do you?
I'm just happy if it's there because there's no worse feeling in the world when it's not.
But we're going to talk about a bunch of things like that, including things that make you think and that you can discuss with your family while having Thanksgiving dinner.
Love it.
It's going to be a great show. We're going to tell you what we're thankful for, and then we're going to have some fun, some comedy, and, of course, entertainment as well. So it should be a great show next week. Our Thanksgiving dish. You know what's great about this show, Sammy? Every year, we will have a show on Thanksgiving.
Yes, we will. It'll be a new tradition for people. Some people watch, like the Charlie Brown deal. But some people listen to our show. Right. And how great is that? Yeah.
And you can always just, if you get sick of listening to your family, pop in the earbuds, listen to the show.
Win. Exactly.
Right. We're always about giving, Sammy.
Yeah,
we're givers.
Yes, we are. And I'd also like to, as we close the show today and a good preview of what's coming up for next week, I'd like to congratulate Garth Brooks on his Entertainer of the Year award, 7-time ACM winner. A record, Keith Gibson, as he continues at 55 years old to outdo people in their 30s, let's say, and continues to win. I know Britt Johnson hasn't slept since because his boy Eric Church didn't win, and I take great pleasure in that. So
I know you do.
So I just want to, and Todd Volk, also a listener of our show, big Eric Church fan. You lost. Deal with it. Garth Brooks is still the man. The GOAT. You've been there.
I have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big Eric Church fan, too, but Garth puts on one heck of a show.
Yes, he does. Yes. So congrats to Garth Brooks.
Well, I'm glad. Congrats to you, too.
Thank you. It's a big moment for me.
You've now made it through 28 episodes of this with me.
That's right. Well, we're getting close to 30. How about it?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Kind of crazy. But anyway, we thank you for listening today. We look forward. Thank you to our sponsors. Of course, we have Back to Action Chiropractic, both Florida and Salem. Lisa Erbacher, your country financial insurance agent. Make sure you see her. Get a free quote from her. So stop in downtown Florida to see Lisa. Bees Trees, because, even with wintertime, you want to make sure those bushes are trimmed around your deck. Why, Sammy?
It makes your deck look bigger. And also, with the holidays coming up, make those outside trees look nice.
Right, the lights on it sparkle.
Yep, makes your bulbs look bigger and shinier.
Right.
Yes, 100%.
And then, of course, our presenting sponsor is always Ford of Tuscola, where you got small town feel, great big deals. Those guys are fantastic people to work with. Go down and see Bob, Doug, Barnsey, Nick, the whole crew down there. Great guys, and they are slashing prices, Sammy, like crazy. Bottom dollar, under invoice on new Fords. Can you believe it?
I just don't get it. I don't know how they make money at all. I don't get it.
Well, they small town deal, great big deals. That's why.
That's right. That's right. But, and you're a fool. And you're a fool if you don't go to them, because if you need a truck, a car, whatever you need, and like I said, great service. I've been there. I speak from experience. Treated me right. I know they've treated you right. So how
several
could you not
times.
go there? Yes.
Yep. So anyway, all right. Well, thank you for listening to the show this week. We will talk to you again next Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. Make sure you tune in. I will have that new show up Thanksgiving Day, Sammy. Right.
You always
early.
Do every morning, right?
5 a.m. It'll be up. That way, if you are on a long drive, you can pop us in, tell the kids to put a movie in, and listen to the BTM show.
Yep.
All right.
And you know what, Keith?
What?
You're welcome. They're welcome. That's right.
Yeah, I do the work. You enjoy it. All right. For my co-host, Sam Erwin, I am Keith Gibson. Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk to you on Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you soon. This is the Behind the Mic Show from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill. Gobble, gobble.
Check out the all-new Ford of Tuscola. It's a small-town feel with great big deals. Pre-owned vehicles starting at $24.95. Online at FordofTuscola.com or call 217-253-3353.